so lovely to be here tonight. What a beautiful life. Give yourself some round of applause. You're so lovely.
I really respect Terry Crews for that because I haven't been in a situation that extreme where some dude grabbed my dick and I chose not to react. But I know I've been in situations where I wasn't sure. Like, did I react too softly, or if I had reacted aggressively like I've done before, would that be correct or not? Like I know that. And I've been in somewhere I didn't know if I reacted strongly enough. Like, was I being too intellectual? Was I deliberating too much as to indicate fear? And cowardice a weakness. Like, I didn't know. And I think that's a problem with an extreme personality. Sometimes you don't know if you're acting normally or abnormal. It's almost like when you have that particular type of personality, you need the situation to be that clear to eliminate deliberation about it.
Well,
for instance, if I was with you and somebody was trying to bust you over the head with a glass bottle, I don't have to deliberate that. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's none. Like, if I don't act, I know what that means. If I act, I know what that means. If it's something short of that, then, there could be some pause and there could be some latency, so to speak.
You're right. And it's funny because that comes from a certain amount of security. Like, if you already know that you're capable of completely spazzing out, it's like, okay, I know I can go there. Now, should I go there?
Yeah.
Anything besides the most clearly drawn out scenarios, especially as an adult, a thinking person, and one prone to extremes, there's going to be some form of deliberation. Because it's not, like I said, it's not walking down a dark alley at night and somebody jumps out of the alley and grabs your dick. You all know what you do then. You're going to beat the fucking shit out of them. You know what I mean? It's like there's multiple levels. There's actually feeling like you're in danger. There's a lot of things. This is not that.
Now, do I think would I go berserk if something like that happened to me? Of course, I think I would. But I'm not Terry Crews, though. I'm not in his world. I'm not being paid millions for what he does.
Yeah.
So that don't confuse me about what I would do in that moment at all. I mean, I know cowards that might go crazy in that particular situation. It don't take a lot of strength to get mad at somebody grabbing your fucking dick.
Nah. Yeah, I've always disliked that. Like, that people have the tendency to sit back and kind of watch, like, for someone who they regard as tough or, powerful or whatever other positive thing you want to attribute to them. They kind of lurk and wait to see a crack. And if they see that crack, they try to put a crowbar in it and yank it wide open.
Yeah.
And that's a tendency I think everybody has, but I know I make efforts to fight that in myself because it comes from a really weak place. It doesn't come from a place of confidence. It comes from a place of, if I debase someone else, I can drag them closer to a level that I believe I'm on.
Self-esteem is a big thing. To see somebody that makes that much more than you might be considered worth more as a person than you, and then you can easily bring them down to your level or lower to say that you are like you said, a more authentic person in certain ways.
That by itself, like just approaching life that way, that's just an indication that you don't really believe in yourself.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of that scene in Cool Hand Luke. Did you ever see that?
You talking about a scene when he's digging a hole?
Yeah.
And he finally broke after all that time. It's like every man has his breaking point.
Yeah. That's literally the first movie that ever meant a lot to me. That had a lot of depth and stuck with me.
Yeah, because like it kind of cut through the whole facade of some kind of impenetrable masculinity or toughness. It's like this is a man. He has weak moments. He can be broken just like anyone else. So they try to elevate him to a superhero and then diminish him when he turned out to just be a man, as opposed to looking at the fact that this was a man the whole time who was just through his actions and decisions making himself not more than a man, but as fully actualized a man as he possibly could be. That's something to be admired. But it's easier for you to think that he was invested with some kind of superpowers. And then when he proves that he doesn't have the superpowers and it's just mortal, he's just like me. No, he's not just like you. Because all those other things he did is because he can dig deeper than you. His willpower is greater than yours. And you know that. But it felt good in that moment to watch him be broken down because you felt like, you know what, he's a little bit closer to me.
And I had to make sure I checked myself on this, in life. it's easier to think of a person just being that much different than you, like they just alien to you. Because you don't have to think like, no, they're just like you. They're just reaching a higher part of themselves, like you could, but you don't. It's easier to do.
You know, like you said before, this is just about discretion and judgment. It's not about oh snap, I might not be able to acquit myself against this guy. Come on, man. You're just making a smart decision, and you in front of your woman. If you're alone, the pride monster is a beast. At any given moment, when your pride gets wounded, you can make some really bad decisions. But again, having not just a woman, but like your woman, your wife right there, where again, you don't have to prove to her that you're tough enough to handle this. She already feels secure. There's no pride involved or loss of pride in her eyes. So there's that reassurance, number one. But then number two, there's a sound judgment of don't do something that could, by extension, harm me. And
yeah, I completely agree.
And that's what could possibly happen. You beat the shit out of this dude. Now you're facing charges. Now you impacting your ability to make money for your family. Everybody thinks just because you have money that money just keeps on coming. You don't know anybody's situation. So you don't know how many people somebody's taking care of or anything. So you don't know what can be put in peril by a bad decision. So when I think about it that way, I just can't imagine any good woman not doing what his wife clearly did, which is make sure she immediately talked him off the ledge. And if you respect your woman, you're going to, if you're doing the right thing and you're in your right mind, you're going to go with what she says because you know she's right. And again, you have that reassurance of her knowing that it's not a situation of you being in fear. She's just asking you to be a better you, or more reasonable you, or calmer you, and better in the sense of handling the situation better. Because the easiest thing to do is pound the shit out of some old white guy.
Yeah, and I was thinking like, so are y'all thinking that if it was a moment that required no thought, just physical reaction, that Terry Crews would somehow be a bitch in that moment? Like, why are you thinking that from this situation? From this situation that very much, I guess, creates a scenario in which you can think, you can deliberate. It's not so clear. Like, why do you think that him in that moment is the same as if it was true danger, true physical danger? Like, why would you think they are the same with him?
Yeah, man. And again, I dislike the armchair quarterbacking, the Monday morning quarterbacking, man. Everybody sitting around and all this confidence, and I would have knocked them out. I would have done this. I would have done that. It's like, you don't have to face any charges. You don't have to face any loss endorsements. You have no skin in the game. You got a big wad full of monopoly money, and you pushing it all to the middle of the table. Yeah, you're real brave.
Yeah, and I was thinking like, DL, I can think of a whole bunch of situations that would give you pause, that the particulars of that situation might more so mean your manhood, more so require you to immediately react physically. I mean, because DL knows that this is a situation that was described in which it didn't demand that, I guess, extreme physical response was required. It didn't demand that. So I was like, so what if Terry Crews did follow up on this wanting to smack you? What if you was in front of your kids, your son, and he called you a bitch and spit in your face? Would it give you pause? I don't know. Anyway, my whole point is there's a whole host of situations in which you would be paused too.
Yeah, that's the whole, what do you do if Mike Tyson, prime Mike Tyson walks up and slaps a girl on the ass?
Right, right.
Everybody can tough talk, but there are exceptions, because I think we both know people who are immediately taken off and they'll take whatever L comes with it. We know those kind of people.
Absolutely.
Those people are exceptions. Most people, even if they do something, they're going to do a lot of deliberating before they make a move. They're going to run a lot of scenarios through their head. There's going to be some cost-benefit analysis going on at lightning computer speed.
Right.
We on the same page. We respect the dude. People criticizing Terry Crews is ridiculous. And if you're one of those people that have a strong opinion about Terry Crews, I would tell you to run up on him and slap him so he can beat the shit out of you. But
right.
I don't want to put that on him, because he just going to end up catching the charge. So,
and here's the funny thing about what you just said. Like, the way you just posed that, they paused already just with you saying that. They thought in that moment they paused. They judging him, but they pause with you just presenting that hypothetical.
Everybody want to pile on Terry Crews. Ain't nobody gonna run up on him though.
Right, right. Like everybody want to go to heaven, but nobody want to die.